everybody. Welcome. So this is Yoga Pilates Fusion, Monday morning. We're going to do our best. Oh. So we're going to start in a seated position. We're going to take a few moments. So if sitting cross-legged on the floor is really tricky, a great way to work with it is to sit up on the edge of a blanket. So if you have a blanket handy, sweetheart. Okay. If you have a blanket handy, take the blanket. Now you can sit on it just folded rather large. What I do is I fold it up so it almost looks a little bit like a little bench and then sit on the blanket such that you're just basically right on the edge of it. So that feels a little bit like your sit bones are the only thing on the edge of the blanket. This will often tilt the pelvis just right so that sitting up doesn't require a lot of effort. So your pelvis will align just right. So if it always feels like you're kind of falling backwards when you sit cross-legged on the floor, try it with a blanket underneath you. See if that helps. Then rest your hands in a comfortable position. You can put one palm inside the other, one palm on each knee, or just let the arms rest in some other way. We're gonna close the eyes, and you can close them all the way or close them just almost all the way, and leave a tiny little bit open, and just let yourself kind of gaze with a little bit of a soft focus out in front of you. Whatever's gonna be better for keeping yourself awake. Take some deep breaths and just try to find that position where your spine just feels effortlessly holding itself up. Try to let your shoulders fall away from your ears a little bit. Chin and just bring it down to the chest, and then essentially we're just going to kind of let the head kind of follow the line of the collarbone up to the shoulder. When you get to the point where you feel a little stretch right here through the front part of the neck, so it's like from the collarbone up to the ear, just behind the jaw, then you're going to take that same, so I'm stretching out my right side, so I'm going to take my right collarbone and just reach that down a little bit, give that a little extra stretch. Then as I come back around and I feel a stretch go up the back of my neck, I'm going to take that right shoulder blade and draw it down. Just lingering for a breath and then coming back to the center. Rolling over to this first side, so I'm going to go for this front area first. So roll into the right and then pull in the collarbone down, taking a breath. And then as I come back, I'm going to stop with this muscle, pull the shoulder blade down, take a breath, and then come back to the center. So essentially we're just going to do a slow roll with a little extra time spent with each of these little muscles that hold the head and aligned on the spine. Now if that feels too intense, you can just keep a movement pattern going. You don't have to do the pauses. Or if you want to pause for a little longer, you can pause a little longer. Essentially do this until I start to feel everything kind of get a little bit looser, a little less sensitive. So I'm going to do one more round. I've gotten back to the point where I've done the same amount on either side. I'll let my head float up. And we're going to take the shoulders through some little circles. Try and get the shoulder blades to let you move the arms really forward, up around your ears, back. When you do one more circle, go in the direction you're going in, then switch the direction. Heel the chest open, draw the shoulders up, bring them around. Or whichever version you're doing. They'll both be fine. Alright, so we're going to take the shoulders and just essentially lift them up as high as you can and then let them fall. Lift them up as high as you can, let them fall. Lift them up as high as you can, let them fall. Okay. So, we're going to move the rib cage. I need to drink first. So we're going to move the rib cage through a circle. So we're going to, and the pelvis can help. So we're going to lean the pelvis forward and then push the ribs forward so we have a little bit of the feeling of a cobra pose. Then peel it over to the side, round your back to come around the back. Come over to the side and then push forward. So essentially we're doing this little cat-cow shapes. I need to get a little farther away from the furniture. Doing the little cat-cow shapes inside of this little rolling movement. So one more in that direction. When you get to the front, you do this little cobra again. Stretch open the collarbones. Then go the opposite way. For about 4 rounds. Especially if it feels like your back is a little stiff today, you might slow it down along the way. Alright, so once you get to the front, again, we're going to kind of do a little cobra shape. And then stack yourself back up. And we're going to do a little bit of this kind of washing machine motion, this little agitation motion. And then return in one direction, just whichever way you were heading. And pause right there, get a little taller, hold that twist. And if you'd like, you can deepen the twist just in this upper part of the back by shifting. So in this case, my right shoulder is the one that's closer to you guys. So I'm gonna take the right shoulder and move it forward and up. And then my left shoulder is the direction I'm twisting, so I'm gonna pull that down and in. And just moving the two shoulder blades gives me a little bit more of a sense that the upper back is getting a little extra twist. Lower back I don't want to muck around with. Once it's got its twist in it, we're going to leave that alone. We can move the shoulder blades. You can turn your head in different directions. Okay, last breath there. Alright, so we're going to kind of stay with that little bit of a twist. I'm going to let it go, but I'm still turning a little bit to the diagonal there. So I'm going to take that leg out. So I'm turned to my left, so I'm going to take my right leg out and then side stretch out over the right side. Now I'll take one more big breath here. Take myself all the way up. Alright, so this is the part that gets a little interesting. I'm going to sit cross-legged with my other leg in front. Do this little washing machine movement again. Try not to get my hair stuck in my armpits while I do that. No, that's not easy. Hold on. This is why I usually tie my hair up in a knot. Alright, we're coming around the other way. So I'm twisting however much my body twists around, that's where I stop. And then if I wanted to do the little shoulder blades again, I can take my left shoulder blade forward and up, right shoulder blade down and in, and just create a little bit of extra movement in the upper back. And you can keep your head turning in the one direction, or you can change the neck position. let go of the twist. And again, I'm going to kind of keep the diagonal, slide my left leg out so I can get into the side bend, go in that direction. Take one more breath. And we're going to come all the way up and out of there. Give everything a little bit of a rinse. All right, you guys. So we're going to come up to all fours. We'll do a little bit of spinal balance, but if you want to get a couple of rounds of cat in first, you can do that. And if you need any blocks or any padding for your knees, you can throw that in now too. So we're going to adjust the hands so that they're a little bit forward of the shoulder, just a wee bit. And then see if that feels okay on your wrist. If you prefer, you can have that wrist a little closer in or a little further out. So just kind of finding the spot that feels like it's not a bad idea. Then we're going to take the right leg back behind us, left arm out in front, give that a really good long reach. We're just going to hold for a moment and stretch between those 2 points. Try to draw in a little bit through the sides of your waist. Nice big breath. And then lower those 2 down. So we're going to do the same thing opposite side. So we're going to take that left leg out, right arm out. Stretch between those 2 points. One more breath. And we're going to bring those 2 down. So we're going to do the same thing, but on the opposite side. So right leg, left arm, go out. And now we're going to curl them in and stretch them out. Curl them in, stretch them out. Curl them in, stretch them out. Give it a big long reach. And then putting your hand back down, bring that right leg all the way forward. So you could use some blocks. If touching the floor with your hands is a little tricky. So we're going to move the hips forward until you feel something on that left hip. And then we're going to move the hips back a bit until it feels like you're almost into, or maybe into a hamstring stretch. It might all the way be there. But just about on the edge of that. Coming forward into the lunge. Backing up a bit into the hip. If you need, you can lift your shin just a little bit or tuck your toes under if that helps your knee. We're going to go forward for the lunge. I'm going to take my upper body up. Try to find a spot where it feels like I've got a little stretch right there, but also a little bit of a back bend. Now if you want, you can put your arms over your head or wrap them around behind you. Hold and steady. If it's too much, you can back off a little bit. Might be early yet. I'm taking a nice big inhale. I'm going to exhale, fold forward, send the hips back, and we'll hold steady with that hamstring stretch. If you need, you can work your right leg foot a little further forward. If you feel something, you're there. I'm going to bring both hands to the left side, and then we'll take that right leg all the way back, give a little shake, and put that one down. Take your left leg and your right arm out. Give them a good stretch. Exhale, curl in. Stretch out. Exhale, curl in. Stretch out. Exhale, curl in. Stretch out nice and long. We're going to bring that left foot all the way forward into the lunge. And then staying relatively low profile with the upper body. Just send in the hip forward until something happens. And then sending the hips back until you feel something. Just work in between those 2 points. should fit a reasonable lunge. Doesn't feel like it's too sharp. And go ahead and add the back bend to it. And you can have your arms overhead. You can wrap them around behind you. You can find a different place if you need a little support. This is not so wobbly. Nice big breath. And we're going to fold it down, send the hips back, fold over this front leg. So we've got that little bit of hamstring love. Okay, last breath here. Now, you can bring both hands to the inside and then take that left leg all the way back. Give it a little shake out. You can tuck both your toes under and lift your legs to come into a full plank, or you can shift the hips forward into a modified plank. Take a nice big breath, and then we're going to exhale and lower down. So we're coming all the way down to the belly for now. Coming into a cobra, so a little lift. And then slide your hands back. Keep your palms spread out nice and wide. Do a little lift. Slide your hands back. Come up. Little lift. And then one more time, we're going to slide them back to a little cobra lift. Now, we're going to slide all the way to the very edge of the mat on the right side. And then we're going to take the right leg, lift it up, bring ourselves all the way over so we're on our back, okay? So hopefully you landed basically in the middle of your mat. So we're gonna float that right leg in. We're gonna curl up toward it. Now you can put your hands behind your head so that you can keep your head pressing back. And then as the knee comes in, you'll just do this little extra curl from the abs. So you're not pulling on your neck and you're not using the neck to do the work. You can let go and do that little extra curl reaching down towards your ankle. So we're going to float the left leg up, curl in, switch legs, curl in, switch legs, curl in, switch legs, curl. You got the notion. Keep reaching through that leg that's moving away from you so you get that nice hip flexor stretch. Two more sets. Good, so let the right leg rest. Grab hold of your left knee. Give that leg a little hug. Stretch out through the right leg. Keep the toe pointing up. Flex the foot and reach. Good, spin your left foot in circles. Reaching through that right front of your hip, go the other direction with the circles. Can you do both of these at the same time? It's not easy. It might just be me. All right, point and flex your foot. Keep reaching through that right front of your hip. Two more breaths. One more. Good, we're gonna shift sides. So we're gonna let that left leg stretch all the way out, bring that right knee in. Turn the toes up, flex the foot, reach through the front of your left hip, and then we'll spin the right foot in circles. Keep stretching that left hip out nice and long. Circle the other direction. Stretch through your left hip just a little bit more, point and flex. Two more breaths. All right, so we're going to release the right leg. We're going to come all the way back over. So essentially we're just going to push with the right foot to come over. We're going to come back to our cobra. If you want to do an up dog, you could. Then we're going to push ourselves up and back into down dog. So once you get to your down dog, take a few moments. Oh, especially if it's your first one of the day. Move your shoulders around a little bit. Find the spot that feels the best. Move your heels up and down a bit. And then we're going to walk ourselves to a forward bend. And once you get there, you can give your wrists a little shake. Do some little circles. A little shake. We're going to come up halfway. And then bend your knees enough that when you fold, your chest pretty much rests on your thigh. Now you can have your feet out wider or more narrow. I like mine quite wide. So I'm going to go a little wide and I'm going to turn them out. With the knee bent, sway over to your right side. Straighten out your left leg. Bend that knee, straighten out the right leg. We're just going to vacillate back and forth like that. Left leg straight. Right leg straight. Or straight-ish. It might not go all the way straight. A little bit more on the left. A little more on the right. Bend both knees, come back to the center, come up halfway. Exhale, fold. So we're going to sway over here to the left leg. Again, we're going to straighten out the right leg a bit. See if we can straighten out the left leg a bit. And then the right one. And then the left one. Just go back and forth. Okay, so we're going to do the left leg straight one more time. And then bend both knees, come back to the center, come up halfway. You can straighten the legs out and then come all the way up to standing. Give yourself a nice big hold in there, stretch. Oh. And then come to mountain pose at the top of your mat. Give yourself a little shimmy. We'll find ourselves somewhere near the top of the mat. With whatever wardrobe malfunctions we might have been experiencing in some way, hopefully corrected. We'll see how this goes. All right, yogis. We're going to take a nice big breath, lift the arms overhead. As you exhale, the left arm's going to go down towards the hip. You can press your hand into your waist if you like. Stretch over to your left. Inhale, come on back. Same idea, right hands go into the waist or down the side, stretch over to your right. Ooh, inhale to the center, both arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up halfway. Now, if you like, you can use yoga blocks for this. If you don't have blocks, but you can hold onto the floor or you've got a piece of furniture or a wall nearby, you can do that. So we're going to place the hands in a position where we're nice and steady. We're going to pick this left leg up and just reach it back. And we're going to aim for as level a pelvis as we can get. Now, if you can float your arms up off that and just hold steady with that level pelvis, great. But we're really interested in making this right hip do some work. So we want to keep this level pelvis. Reach back through your heel. And so if you want to use the supportive blocks or the wall, you can do that. Ooh, 2 more breaths with that nice level hip, nice right butt cheek work in action. Last breath. All right, we're going to step all the way back here, theoretically, into a high lunge. This may or may not work out, depending on gravity and your relationship to it this morning. So we're going to keep the hips pointing forward. We're riding up on the toes in the back. And we're going to take a moment, take the arms up. And then you're going to see if you can bend your left knee a little closer to the ground. It can go down almost to the ground or just a tiny bit. Then we're going to straighten that leg out a bit. Press forward through the knee and backwards through the heel. So bending this knee a little bit, lifting through the front of the pelvis. Good, and then the knee goes forward and the heel goes back. Beautiful. One more time, we're going to send the knee down, lift up through the pelvis. And then the knee goes forward and the heel goes back. We'll take both hands to the ground and step back into down dog. Now, if you want to skip the down dog and the vinyasa part of this, just go directly to your belly. Okay. So from dog, we're going to come forward into a plank. Now, you can maintain a full plank. You can take one leg up to make it a little more challenging. You can maintain a modified plank to make it a little less intense so that you can really work the core part. Or We're gonna hold here for 3 breaths. And then we're gonna lower down, come into either a cobra or an upward dog. And then we'll head back into downward dog. Now, take that left leg, bring it up, give it a little shake. You're gonna bring the knee in right down the center, curl up, stretch it back, take it to your outer elbow, curl up, ooh, and then step it forward. Wherever it lands, bring your right foot up to meet it. You might need an adjustment there. Come up halfway, exhale, fold. Come all the way to standing. Give yourself a big stretch. And then we're gonna find ourselves at the top of the mat. So back in mountain pose. Now we did some stuff on one side, we haven't done on the other side. Is there a difference? Or is there a difference between just this mountain pose and the last one we did? Nice big breath, reach both arms up. Right hand goes to the right hip or the right side waist. Right thigh, curl over to the right. Inhale. Both arms to the center. Exhale. A little side bend to the left. Coming back to the center. Nice big breath. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up halfway. You do that same thing. So you're going to put your hands on some surface, the floor, blocks, or a piece of furniture, whatever wall, whatever you got. We're gonna reach back through that right leg. Now, there's a tendency when we do this balance to stack the hips. We wanna keep the hips as level as possible. So we really feel that in this glute area up here. Reach through the heel and hold it as steady as you can. And again, you can choose to do the balancing portion of this, or you can keep your hands steady. You wanna work the hip, whichever way it goes. We're gonna try to hold it for about 3 more breaths. Reach through that heel. All right, here we go. So we're gonna take that leg down, and we're gonna try to come up into a high lunge. Maybe it worked out, sorta, kinda. And we're balanced, or maybe we're not, and we're just gonna come back and fix it somehow. So hips are pointed forward. I'm up on my tiptoes here on the back foot. So I'm gonna bring my right knee toward the ground, a little or a lot. Come back, push my left knee forward, and my right heel back, as best I can do to balance. Right leg goes down, pelvis comes up. Stretch the two away from each other, knee and heel. And then one more time, pelvis up, knee down. And then I'm gonna send my heel and my knee away from each other. Ooh, nice big breath. And then both hands to the floor, we'll step back into down dog. So again, you can go directly to the floor if you like. Ooh. All right. Coming into your plank, again, you could do the opposite side, modify your plank, make choices that are right for you today, and take a big breath. Ooh, we're gonna do 2 more. We're gonna exhale, lower down, come into either a cobra or an upward dog. Exhale, come on back. Now you're gonna come all the way down to your belly. We're gonna scooch a bit to the left side. We're gonna bend that left knee, bring the left foot all the way to the ground, which rolls us onto our back. Okay, and hopefully I'm not gonna run into any furniture. I'm gonna readjust, more plants. Okay, so I'm reaching out through this right hip, giving myself a nice long stretch there. Left foot is here, just resting for a moment. So we're gonna do this little hip flexor release movement, and we'll do that on both sides, and then we'll add on to things. So I'm gonna curl straight up the center with my upper body, and I'm gonna bring that knee straight in. Then I'm going down and stretching that leg out. We're gonna do that twice more. Bring it in, and come down, and really try to feel yourself use the abs to curl in, and that hip flexor to lift your leg. Now, we're gonna take that right knee to the left elbow, so we're gonna do a little twist. So we're gonna come across, twist the elbow to the right, stretch out, come across, stretch out, come across, stretch out. Now we're going to hold steady, stretch right there on the front of that right hip. Now we're going to bring that right knee to the right elbow. Curl in and stretch it out, and curl it in and stretch it out, and again curl it in, stretch it out, give it a good long reach, and then we're going to just slide that leg right into place next to the left foot. Just see if there's any difference between the way your right hip feels and your left. We haven't done the left one yet. So we're going to stretch the left leg out. Give that leg a good stretch right there in the front of that left hip. Again, we're going to go straight up the middle for the first three. So big breath, stretching through the hip, and then exhale, curl it in. Stretch out through that left hip. Exhale, curl it in. Stretch out. Exhale, curl in. So again, we're going to do a twist. I'm bringing that left knee towards my right elbow. And stretching it out. Oh, don't skimp on this part. Curl. Stretch it out. Oh. One more time. Curl. Stretch it out. I'm bringing that knee to my left elbow now. Going out to the side. Stretch out. Really feel that length. Curl it in. Stretch out. Oh. And one more time. Curl it in. Stretch out. So we're going to pause right there. Really stretch through that front of that hip. And then we're going to slide the leg back into place. And I've got both my legs steady in a constructive rest position. Feel both of your hips. Ooh. Okay. So we're going to do some rolling bridge. So we're going to bring the feet in just a little bit closer. And we're going to move the body one vertebrae at a time as best we can. So the sacrum will come up off the ground as one unit. In fact, really the whole back might operate like that. But we're going to try to get it to move as best we can, one bone at a time up, one bone at a time down, okay? Snuggle your shoulder blades in. Get your feet nice and firm on the ground. You're going to feel yourself curl the tailbone in first, and then we're going to peel the sacrum up, and then one bone at a time as best we can, going all the way up till the weight is on your shoulders. Now I find it easier to come down one bone at a time than I do to go up, but do your best to come down one bone at a time. Try to feel each one hit the mat. And if you feel ones that are kind of sticky, they want to hang out with their friends, then you'll know those are spots to work on later too. Okay, once you feel the weight start to shift into your sacrum, just let the low back come back to its neutral curve. Take a nice big breath. Whew. Inhale your way up next time. Exhale, we're going to come down one vertebrae at a time as best we can. So you can spend a little more time on the inhale, a little more time on the exhale. Just whichever one works better for you. Take a breath in between. Let's do it 3 more times, y'all. Lifting into bridge, and then peeling ourselves down. You can feel your glutes kind of kick on to help control the movement. Individual articulation we can get in the spine, the more we actually work all the little stabilizer muscles that live between the vertebrae. It's worthy work because it gives our spine so much more flexibility and resilience. And it's not a place where we work very often. So we're going to come down one bone at a time. Try to really feel those little vertebral movements. Now your skin or your muscle tissue might touch before your bones do, so we're trying to control the bones. When you get to that point where you feel the heaviness hit your sacrum, just let that neutral curve come back. Now, we're going to do one more thing while we're here. You can keep your arms down beside you. You can put your hands a little bit in so that it feels a little bit more like you're controlling the tilt of your pelvis. And then you can also bring your hands behind your head and use the abdominal muscles to help control the stabilizing of the low back, okay? We're not trying to eliminate our low back curve, we just want to hold it in a neutral position so that as we are moving the legs, we can hold steady through that low back and keep the low back safe. So we're going to bring the legs straight up, you're going to glue the thighs together, spread the toes out, and try to get the heels to really kind of connect to one another, okay? So I'm pushing out through the little ball mounds of my big toes, spread my toes out, take a big breath. You're going to exhale and lower down for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold steady there. 4, 3, 2, 1, and then come on back. Good. We're lowering down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold steady. 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on back. Lowering down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding steady. 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming back. Good. Lowering down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding steady. 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming back. We just got 2 more to go. Lowering down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding steady. 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming back. One more time. 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop in through the sides of your waist. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it on back. Ooh. Give yourself a little rinse, maybe a little back massage, or some little windshield wipers. Oh, that feels so good. That's one of my favorites, I admit. All right, so we're using our left leg to push ourselves off, to propel back to the belly. Oh, coming into a little cobra. Work your legs, and then we're coming back to down dog. When you find your dog, take a big breath, lift your right leg up behind you, bring it in, hook it right down the middle, stretch it back. We're going to go to this outside elbow, stretch it back, and then step it forward. However far it goes, put your weight in it, step your other leg forward, come up halfway, fold, come all the way to standing. Give yourself a nice big stretch. And then we'll find our way up to the top of the mat for a mountain pose. Ooh, that was a long journey to get back to this mountain pose. Welcome back. So finding that sense that your feet are evenly weighted, toes pointing forward. We're going to shift the weight into the right leg. We're going to bring the left leg into some sort of a balancing pose. So I'm going to do a tree pose, but you could do a dancer or an eagle or whatever suits you at this time. Taking a nice big breath. We're going to pick up that leg and step back. And we're going to try to hit a warrior one shape. So warrior one means my heel's on the ground, there's a little bit of a diagonal. So I let the hips move to the diagonal. And I'm going to rotate my torso just a little bit forward, okay? So we're going to take the arms up, we're going to do a little spine stretch forward. So we're going to reach out, stretch forward, and then roll up as best we can, one vertebrae at a time. Just coming back to this movement in the spine as best we can. Reach out, stretch your spine. Oh. And then roll it up. If you need your feet a little wider so it's not too wobbly, just move your right leg a little to the right, left a little to the left. Give yourself plenty of space. Stretch out to that diagonal a little bit, and then roll yourself up. All right, yogis, we're going to straighten out our front leg. We're going to rotate the hip a little open, and we'll come into a triangle. You might have to move your back foot a little differently. And then pull yourself into a little bit more of a side angle shape, and then that triangle. Bend the knees for a little bit more side angle. I'm going to float up a little, and then we're going to go more triangle, rotate a little, one more, float up a little, and then come to triangle, and we'll hold steady right there for a couple breaths. One more big breath. We're going to bring ourselves into a balance. Now this time we're going to try to stack the hip up on top. So this right leg might be getting kind of tired. We're going to do our best. Stack that left hip up on top. Give it a big stretch. Last breath. All right, this is where we're going to curl in that knee. We're going to put it right down where it came from. We're going to come up halfway. Exhale, bend your knees, fold. Come all the way to standing. Oh, this could be interesting. Oh, big stretch. And then we're going to find our mountain pose again. Ooh, and see if there's a difference between the right side and the left. Even just a little difference. We've done a bunch of stuff. So we're going to repeat all that stuff we just did, but on the left leg. So we're going to shift the weight into that left leg, come into whatever balancing pose you did. Tree, or dancer, or whatever. Whatever your fave is. Taking a big breath. We're going to pick that leg up or let go of it. Step it back. We're aiming for that warrior one shape. Ooh. Okay, let your hip go with your feet. Turn your ribs a little bit if you like, but you can just stay on the diagonal. Nice big long stretch. We're going to reach the spine out and fold forward, and then roll ourselves up and try to pull your navel in and really feel yourself move that one vertebrae at a time. Two more. Stretch out. Roll it up. I like to do this with my eyes closed, but it makes it way wobblier. One more time. Stretch it out. Curl it up. Ooh, we're going to straighten out the front leg. Again, we're going to adjust the legs however we need to for triangle. So I usually need to get a little bit bigger. And then lengthen. We're going to bend the knee, float into that side angle shape, straighten the leg, rotate into our triangle, okay? Bend the knee, side angle, straighten out, little triangle, one more time. Side angle, and then we're going to take this triangle pose, and just pause with it. Two more breaths. And this is where we're going to take this left hip into one more balancing pose. So we're going to get our right leg up, see if we can balance all the way. Nice big inhale. Both hands to the floor. This time we're stepping all the way back and into downward dog. Give yourself a little jiggle. Now you can come forward into a plank. You can lower down. We're going to lower down eventually, but if you like, you can hold your plank for a couple more breaths. Ooh. Switch the other leg if you've got one lifted. And then we're going to lower all the way down. All right. So you're going to take your right arm and just lift it up. Now if you want a little pillow, put that under there. And then take your left hip up on top of your right hip. So they're stacked. Shoulders are stacked. I can put my hand on my hip. I can put my hand up front. I can bring my hand around or even lift it. So depending on how wobbly you are, you want to keep your torso nice and stable. Try to keep the hips stacked. You can bring the legs forward for a little extra security. or lift them to make it a little harder. So we're going to turn the legs so we've got an external rotation. So my toes are separate, but my heels are together. And if I feel for this little lumpy bone on the side of my thigh, it's pointing down. Lift the leg a little bit. We're going to circle that leg. Try to hold the torso nice and stable. Squeeze in through the sides of the waist. Whew. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. And then bring the heels back together. Now we're going to turn the opposite way. So we're going to bring the toes together and the heels separate. Now this little lump on the side of the thigh that was kind of going in should now be sticking up a little bit more, this greater trochanter. So we're going to lift the leg and circle it. Now I find it a lot jigglier to do it this way because I have to use a little bit more muscle from the deep pelvic floor for the movement and a little bit less for stability. So really hug the sides of your waist in, throw in that little extra bit of security with your hand or something if you like. We got 3 more, 2 more, 1 more, and coming back. We should be still feeling some nice burn on the side over here on these outer hip muscles. So we're gonna bring the feet around behind us so the knees are bent. Then we're gonna pick the legs up. So now I have an internal rotation. I can feel that greater trochanter kind of pointing up a little bit. As soon as you open the knees, that creates the external rotation, right? You can feel that change. Now you can hold here, or you can extend the leg to make that a little more challenging. Bring the toes together, bring the knees together. Okay, so that's our work. Open, maybe extend, toes together, knees together. Nice and smooth like you're underwater. So we're going to do 3 more. And 1 more. All right, we're going to extend the legs back out. When you're done, we'll take this top leg and bring it forward. It might be the straight leg. It might be a bent leg. You're going to try to keep your hips stable. Lift your right leg off the floor, so the one that's on the bottom of the stack. Lift your right side waist a little bit, and then we're going to pulse up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're going to try to swing that leg forward and back as big a range of motion as it has while still lifting it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to the center. Lift again with a pulse. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that leg down. We're going to stretch out through this right leg, or left leg. We're going to bring ourselves back to the belly. Do a cobra. Now the theory is you just extend your left arm and roll right onto your left side, but you might want to do what I'm going to do, which is spin around 180 degrees so you can see, or I can talk to you with my voice pointing at the camera. Okay, so hips on top, shoulders on top, arm in a position that creates some strength. Externally rotate the legs. You can hover them or have that bottom leg on the floor or even a little forward. Right leg lifts. We're going to circle that right leg, holding that external rotation. Hug in through the sides of the waist, maintaining your stability. Good. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. Heels together. So we're going to take the toes together now, separating the heels. Feeling that internal rotation, try to maintain that while we circle the leg, hug in through the sides of the waist, hold steady with that internal rotation, and circle. Might not be as big a circle, but can you feel how the muscle shifted a little bit? I hope you can. Here we go. We got 3 more, 2 more, 1 more. Bring it together. Feet are behind us. Lift the feet. We're going to orient so that we've got an internal rotation to start with. Then we feel that external rotation. Bone goes in. Kick out if it feels okay to your knee. Bring it back and then together. So we'll do these little butterfly kicks or clamshell kicks. or maybe no kicks. Your choice. So we got 3 more to go. Last one. Beautiful. Then we're going to bring the legs out straight. Take that right leg, kick it over the top. Could be straight, could be bent. Get your hips stacked up. Okay. Lifting that left leg. Hug through the side of your left waist. We're going to lift it up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now holding and lifting your side waist. We're going to swing that leg forward and back as best we can inside that little space we've got. Lift your left side waist. 3, 2, 1. Coming back to the middle. Lift again, pulsing. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let the leg come down. We're going to roll all the way onto our back. We're going to stretch out both legs. Oh. Now, it might be nice to have like a little happy baby or put some pillows in or blanket under your legs or whatever will make you comfy. We're going to snuggle ourselves in to a little final relaxation, Shavasana. So just let your body relax. Now, if you have to check out at some point, just leave me a little note. I think I got the right count, but just to be on the safe side. Thank you. Otherwise, we're just going to really let ourselves relax. And try to let our nervous system just have a moment to itself. Try to unwind the spot right between your eyebrows and across your forehead. And let the temples relax. Let the orb of your eyes kind of sink back a bit into the socket. Unwind the jaw a bit and soften the lips. Let just the most delicate of smiles kind of creep into your mouth a little. So soft and receptive, kind in the eyes and the mouth. Relax the collarbones and the shoulders. Let the palms get a little softer. Relax the legs and let the toes kind of just separate from one another just by relaxing. And whole body relaxed. Whole body relaxed. Whole body. breath, yogis. Let go with a sigh. Wiggle your fingers and toes a little bit. Now you can stay a little longer if you want. Stretch out through your arms and legs. Give yourself a hug. Oh, goodness. Maybe a back massage, that feels really nice. Oh. And then when you're ready, you can bring yourself to a seated position. Let's take a breath together. Nice big inhale. Big deep sigh. Namaste, beautiful souls. Thank you for sharing your morning with me.